Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we're going to do the final trades, okay? We had this week's trades. We made a couple of changes to this, okay? Very minor tweaks, and this will be our final trades, and I'm going to give you the reasoning behind everything because there's lots of questions being asked. People are going crazy, okay? They're bombarding me with questions, so I'm going to explain it to you now, everything, okay? So just settle down, and you'll know the reasons why I gave up a 110-point scoring player. Now, this was our trades on Monday. If we do undo trades, this was the trades. We brought in Sam DeConning, Dunkley, and Lindsay, okay? We traded out Perryman, Chera scored the 113, okay? And we traded out Flynn. Now, if Perryman scores a 150 and Flynn scores a 150, I'm still going to make these trades. I'm still going to be happy about it. I'm going to explain to you now why, okay? Now, actually, let's undo this, okay? Hang on. Let's turn this one off now. So, what I'm trying to do here, okay? I have, as you can see here, 6 players in the midfield. I want to have 5. I don't want to have 6, okay? Even though I brought in a Dunkley and removed a midfielder, I brought in another midfielder. In the best 18, I need to have players that can go with massive ceilings, okay? Now, if you look at my team, I mean, last week I captained Sheasel. He was no good, okay? It's no good. He scored a 106. Let me down. So, who are my captain options? Well, I got DeConning, and that's virtually, and the Nank. That's pretty much all I got. And we saw DeConning only score a 104 this week. So, I need players that can go massive, okay? So, I need these 130, 40, 150, these kind of players. But I can't afford the really expensive ones because they're mostly injured anyway. So I've chosen Dunkley as that player that can go massive, okay? Especially when Lockie Neal gets a tag, Dunkley has a picnic. So, and last week we saw what he scored, okay? Last week Dunkley, he proved it. He can get a 173. So maybe I should have started him. That's why it's called a correction trade. So I'm bringing him now as a correction. So I brought in Dunkley at the expense of Chera. Now, if I didn't remove Chera, who else could I have removed? It wasn't going to be Richards. It wasn't going to be Rosie, okay? Not Callahan. So it was going to be one of these two. The thing is, one of these two has to also go, okay? So that's going to be Will Day next week. And Will Day had a break-even of 45. So I couldn't remove Will Day. So what I'm aiming to do, all right, is have 3 rookies play over in the midfield here, but the rookies that I'm having are scoring in the 80s plus. Okay, so you got Nevitz. Okay, we're going to bring in O'Driscoll, and most likely we're going to bring in here possibly either Lindsay goes there, or we're going to maybe bring in Ashcroft there. So we want high-scoring rookies over here because there's no point having an Ashcroft on my bench scoring an 80 when I have a Luke Trainer on field scoring a 50. It doesn't make any sense. So that 30-point difference, I need these points on the field. Okay, they're no good to me on the bench. And these 50s, I need these off the field replaced by a player that can go maybe even a 100 or 110 or a 90, 95, doesn't matter. Because if you add up your score you're getting from the rookie midfielder plus your, let's say, DeConning, or let's say DeConning scores a 95, and this player here scores, let's say, an 80, all right? But we want DeConning to score a 110 or a 100, but I don't think he's going to do it. So what we're looking for, let's say 100, okay? We want 100 out of him. So we're getting 180 out of these two, all right? Now, if this was, for argument's sake, say, Chera, let's say he's averaging 110, which is not going, he might average 105, but let's say he's averaging 110. So this was Chera averaging 110. I need my rookie defender here to average 70, or even a 60, just to make up for these two here, which I'm gonna when I put the Nevitz and all the rookies in the midfield. So what I'm trying to do is balance the team so it evens out with the scoring. And the team is unbalanced when I have midfielders that are not, well, midfielders that are scoring 110s over here, but then I've got rookies scoring 50s over here. I need one of these rookies off the field. Now, unfortunately, I don't know enough about the conning, okay? It makes me very scary, okay? So, with the conning, I've removed that trade, okay? We've traded out the conning, okay, this week. We brought him in, and now we're going to trade him out because we're not trading him out. We're undoing our trade, okay? And I'm going to replace him with a rookie. Now, at the moment, that rookie is going to be Bice, okay? Now, Bice has only played one game. He's got a bye round next week, so why would I bring in a player like Bice when I could bring in somebody else? Okay, but because there is nobody else, that's why I'm bringing in Bice. So, I'm going to bring in Bice here, but I'm going to explain to you why in a minute, okay? Now, so Bice comes over here. Then I'm going to remove Lindsay now. I'll bring him back next week and replace him with a player that I was going to bring in next week, okay? The players I can afford. I was going to bring this young man in next week, so where is he? Bailey Smith. So I might as well just get him early, okay, because I've got the cash. So I'll bring him in this week. So if I complete these trades, okay... Okay, the trades are completed. So now I've got Bailey Smith, okay, and I've got Dunkley, who's already there, and I've got Bice. Now what this does is it opens up my defense again to have two rookies on field, all right, but I have Will Day's cash next week to bring in a primo to cover, well, to get rid of Peyton. That's why we kept Peyton there. He's going to be removed, and Day's cash is going to go on top of Peyton, okay? Now, the idea is, I mean, Day's only scoring 76s anyway, but Day should be a 110 averaging player. I want this 110 or a 100 to come from my defense. I don't want it from the midfield because I already have an 80 on the bench that needs to cover Day. So, it's like a balancing act, okay? So, there's no point having a star-studded midfield if I've got a weak defense, okay? I need to have a strong defense as well, because when the opposition get the ball and kick it to my forward line, my defense can't stop them. Just cover down. For example, in our forward line, now you're going to notice that Armstrong's going to be removed eventually, okay? But we've got now only one rookie on field in the forward line, okay? That's Stone. Preferably is Johnson, but he's suspended this week. So, Stone's not even playing, so it's going to probably be Davidson this week. My goal, okay, is to have a 5-5-2-5 system. Okay, it's called a system. Okay, now what is this? Is this a telephone number, you may ask, or all my codes to all my internet banking? No, it's not. Now, 5 means I want 5 players at the back, okay, that can score on any given day, a score of 100, all right? So they can go 100, maybe 90 plus. Decent scorers, 5 of them. I need 5 decent scorers in the midfield. I don't want any more because I'm going to have 3 rookies in here that are going to go 80 plus anyway. So I need 5 guns in the midfield over here, okay? That's the whole point. That's why Chera left, okay? Because Callahan was either going to be, well, Will Day was going to go as well. So it had to be either Callahan or Oliver that was going to leave. I'm keeping Callahan, and Oliver's highly owned, so I can't remove Oliver. So it had to be Chera. Now, am I upset that Chera scored a 1-1-3? Okay, well, I expected it because that's why I got him in the first place, because I knew he was a good player, going to average a 105. We did all our research on Chera. However, there was notes that he was training with the defenders, okay, and the midfielders, so he's doing a bit of both. When I got players that have doubts on their shoulders, it gives me doesn't make me comfortable, okay? So that's why also Chera, I moved him ahead of Oliver. I'd rather keep Oliver, who I know is a gun midfielder. Well, in his prime he was, so hopefully he gets that prime back. But Chera, we saw in the third quarter, played all midfield, all defence, low time on ground. These players worry me. So even though Chera will average a 105, I don't need it because I need that 105 in defence. Okay, I'm saying this again. I'm repeating myself. Now you may ask a question. Okay, you may ask why start a player like Chera, okay, like Oliver, or actually like a Will Day. Why start these kind of players in the first place if the whole idea is to get rid of them? Okay, well, put it this way. If I was to not start them, what would I start with? I'll probably start with 200k rookies, and there was like 9 of them. I don't know, half of them are going to be sub risks. I don't know how they're going to play their roles. And we saw Tasatsis, he didn't perform. We saw Lalo, okay? Now, we saw Lalo score well, 74, but 2 goals in there and not much mid-time. He's not a player that interests me. We saw players like Sullivan play in defence, but no kick-ins. The role isn't the same without the kick-ins. So he doesn't interest me. So I wanted to see which, because I don't want to have all these 200k players. I don't know which one are good, which one is not good. So if I'm going to make changes, it's going to be during correction trades because it's absolutely impossible to nail your starting team. Now, I don't know how these rookie defenders are going to score. I don't know if Luke Traynor is going to score 80s, and I don't need to replace. I don't need to have a premium scoring player here. I don't know if Luke Traynor, maybe Peyton or Zach Reed can all score 80s. In that case, I don't need to strengthen here. But they don't. They don't score 80s. That's the problem. I'm going to give them another week to see if they can do it. But it's all about balancing the team. Okay, the team needs balancing. There's no point having all the points here and then have nothing over here. Because when you get to round 5, which I'm preparing for right now, you're going to find that a lot of these scores are on field and I need to get them off. Okay, so, and the only way I can do that is by switching players to different positions. Okay, I'm hoping this makes sense. And Dunkley is a key to the buy rounds because of the fact that he's got this huge ceiling. I need a player, and he's only owned by 2%, so it's a good get. 1.8% ownership, a huge ceiling, captain option, got easy matchups coming up. Let's have a look at his matchups. Okay, he's got matchups. West Coast, Geelong, Richmond. All 3 of these games, I can captain him. So I need someone that can lead my Spuds. Okay, so I need a Spuds leader, and that's Dunkley. Okay, so I need someone to take charge of the team and captain all my players. Now, I'm not even confident on Rosie because maybe he gets tagged because now Richmond tag as well. So I don't even know if Rosie's going to cop a tag or not. So that's why I got Dunkley, and that's why I didn't vice captain the Conning this week because I knew he was going to be heavily vice-captained. So I decided maybe I'll just go Rosie vice-captain because a lot of people are going to captain him. And if he fails and I've got him as vice-captain, it doesn't matter for me, but it matters for a lot of people. So then it gives me the upper it gives me an advantage if Dunkley goes nuts against West Coast. So that was the whole planning and the thought process, okay? And the 5-5-2-5 system, all right, gives you 17 players because that's 5 players in defence, 5 in the midfield, 2 at the ruck, and 5 forwards that can go at that, let's say, the 100-plus mark, okay? It doesn't mean they're going to average it, but they can go at 100-plus on any given day. It gives me 17 players that can go 100-plus. You'll find that a lot of teams have 16 players. So I've got the good teams, well, I'm not saying good teams, but probably the teams that will be leading towards round 7, 8 onwards will be teams that have more primos on field or players that can score high. They'll be the teams that are leading. So I'm changing my format to a team that's going to have more high-scoring players on field and high-scoring rookies in the right areas. That's the whole idea. So the 5-5-2-5 then will become later on, okay, every week it will change. So it might become in round 6, it might become a 6-5-2-5, all right? In round 7, it might become a 6-6-2-5. We add an extra primo every week, so this increases, okay? So the whole idea is to eventually have it as a 6-2, it's not a 6-2, it's a 6-8. 6-8-2-6. 1. Okay, that's what we're aiming for, because the 1 being the flex. Okay, so we're trying to get our team to become a 6 primo defense, 8 primo midfield, 2 primo ruck, 6 primo forward line, and 1 primo flex. But to start off with, we're going to start with a 5-5-2-5 system. What are we going to do next week then? Okay, now how are we going to bring in what we call another primo here? Or what are we going to do now? Well, we've got a couple of options. Okay, we're watching very close a few players this week. Okay, we're going to watch. Let's get the notepad out. We're going to watch SDK, because I didn't want to bring in a player that I don't trust yet. Okay, so I want to see him again in action and what he can do. I just can't trust him. I want to see SDK, and I don't even know if I'll bring him. Okay, so SDK is one player. The second player that I want to look at really close is going to be Fraser. And I don't know if I trust Fraser, so I don't want to waste a trade of bringing a player in and then have to trade him out again. So Fraser's the other one. The next player that I want to watch, okay, and this may come as a surprise to a lot of people now. The other player I want to watch is Christian Salem. Okay, now this is going to sound like a shock. Okay, now why would I be interested in Salem, you may ask? Okay, now the reason is the 5 kick-ins. He had these 5 kick-ins, scored a 1-1-3, all right? Even in 2024, in the last game of the year, he had 5 kick-ins, scored a 104. So the kick-ins changes the way he scores. Even the week before, had 2 kick-ins, a 105, 2 kick-ins again, an 89. I mean, he gets kick-ins not often, okay? So you can see he had 3 kick-ins here, scored an 86, but he's got a back pocket role. In the back pocket, he's got a role very similar to Jordan Clark from Freo, if you can see, or even a Whitfield. He's got the same role as virtually Whitfield and Clark, similar things, but this is at Melbourne. The only problem with Salem is it's not going to last forever, because Day is going to come back and take all these kick-ins. The kick-ins are worth an extra 20 points for him. So if he's averaging, say, 80, 85, he'll go at 100, 105. And for his price and for that defense line, that's all I need, because then I'm going to upgrade him. So he's a stepping stone, but at the same time, he's taking a player off the field. Okay, he's taking a rookie that's scoring 50s off the field, and he's scoring the points in the back line is where I need him. Okay, I don't need him in the midfield. Okay, I'll need him over here, and that's why I'm virtually switching Chera to the back line. Okay, but the name Chera is also going to changing to a different name. Now Rivers is picked in 2.8% of teams. Actually, it was 0.05 last week. Okay, so it was 0.5%. Now it's gone up to 2.8%. It's still very low, and we're going to watch him again. Now, besides Rivers, okay, let's get their notepad out. The other player that I'm watching, I actually prefer that I do get Rivers, okay, because the next person that I want is Houston. Okay, now the problem with Houston is I can't afford him, so I'm gonna have to find a way to fund the cash to get Houston in, probably in round 4 if I can. So I'll wait 2 weeks on that one. I will, because he's got the bye next week. Now, with our cash situation, all right, we have 26 or say 27k in the bank. Okay, we have. Let's get over here. Let's change this. Will Day is going to be traded out. He was on 491k. He made 12k this week. Okay, the Spud. Okay, so now he's worth 503k. So we're going to add in 503 plus. Now, if Peyton doesn't play, he's worth 133k plus. But if he does play, okay, we might get an extra 15k out of him. So it depends. We get 15k if he scores a 0. So might even make 40k out of him. So it depends if he scores a 50. But it depends what he scores. But he's going to be removed to be replaced by our defender. Now, the next player to be removed now is going to be Hasty, and unfortunately the young man, he got dropped, so he's going to be replaced. So that gives us 782k to play with. So I could bring in 2 gun rookies, okay, say it's 400k. Then I can bring in Fraser or SDK, so they all fit in. But if I need to find an extra 150k, then these gun rookies that I'm going to bring in may not be the. I'll have to bring in SDK, but might have to bring something cheaper to allow to find extra cash for Houston. Okay, so I might have to bring in maybe a Hall type of player. Okay, it's a bit cheaper. So I'll see how I go with finding the cash for Dan Houston the following week if I really want him. And with let's set up all our emergencies and our filters here. So we've got captain gonna be. Let's just switch all this around now. So Armstrong's gonna come where Stone is. Okay, Stone's gonna switch with Smith. Okay, when the switch happens, okay, they're gonna switch together. Stone's gonna be the captain. All right. We're gonna vice captain Rosie on the bench. Now we got Callahan not playing. Okay, so we're gonna cop a 50-point loss this week from Callahan. We'll take that loss. We're only gonna have one more time with Roberts, and that's about it. All the other players are playing. Now Day's gonna be traded out, so we don't suffer from his bye. With Callahan, well, the first game I only got Hasey's not playing, so I got Sydney and Melbourne. The team that plays first is Melbourne, so I'm gonna put the emergency on Henderson. If he scores, say, 55, 60, I'll take it, and then I'll leave it there. If he fails, I'll switch Callahan with Hanley, and whatever Hanley scores, I'll take that. Okay, so that's the plan. And I'm going to leave Zach Reed on the bench and field both Trainer and Bice this week. Okay, so that's the plan. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for joining, and remember one thing. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.